Hi, welcome back to the Political Beat at lmpress.com. I'm Pat, this is Chip. We're here to talk about City Hall in London, Ontario, Canada, and I just spent the whole day at a budget deliberation, so my brain is a little bit fried.
Is that why you look that way?
What, devastatingly handsome?
Yeah, that too.
But one thing I do want to talk about, I think I have a list here, detailed list, the Mayor's State of the City address, or the Mayor's breakfast.
You were there. You were there.
Indeed I was. And we have a clip of what the Mayor said right here.
10,000 jobs. There's that number again. I said it in year one, and I stand behind it because it is achievable. We must double and redouble our efforts to keep the jobs we have now. And we have to do better. And excuses from anyone at any level will not be tolerated anymore.
So he didn't say a whole lot. He indicated that if he is reelected, he wants 1% tax increases and 2% growth annually, which are watered-down versions of what he promised in 2010. And Matt Brown was there, of course, and afterward Matt Brown took a pretty good swipe at the Mayor. And he said...
Because he forgot about talking about the gondola?
No, but the gondola did not come up.
It didn't.
He said that he suggested that the Mayor's perception of things and how he's framing it is contrary to the reality. That is to say, Joe Fontana still wants to create 10,000 jobs. Matt points out we've lost 10,000 jobs since 2008.
We're down 4,000 jobs in this community. That's the truth. We need to face the facts, and I was looking to hear what we were doing about that number today.
So I thought that was very interesting, and sort of the race is on, you know what I mean?
Yep. And out of the blue, the business about a ring road came out. That thing had been retired about 20 years ago after annexation, and before that it had been retired in the early 70s when we missed the boat and we missed the sort of expressways that Kitchener-Waterloo received, and when there was provincial money for it. And now, with annexation and all the development that's gone right to the city boundary, if we do have a ring road, it's going to have to probably go all the way up to Highway number 7, and I understand we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars if you were to do it. And then who's going to drive all the way up to number 7 to go from, say, the airport to Westmount?
Well, no one's going to. It's not going to happen. But and friend of the show, Deb Van Brink, very great free press reporter, talked to the Middlesex Centre Mayor, who said, I haven't talked to Joe about this in any very, very real sense, which was what Joe had suggested in his speech. So anyway, that aside, speech did not have a lot in it, but I hearken back again to what I often say is that even when Joe Fontana isn't doing much, he's interesting. He's just such an interesting guy. So even when he gives a speech that doesn't say a lot, I find it fascinating. I just do.
Well,
I find the guy fascinating.
I was astounded by the ring road thing as coming out of the blue. I think he's trying to get some sizzle going, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of sizzle there. I think he got talked out of the gondola, and too bad somebody hadn't talked him out of the ring road idea. To be honest,
that thing was
non-starter.
That speech was flat as a pancake. But that's how it goes. There wasn't a lot there, but there was the reference to FOBO. Did you read that?
Yes.
Anyway, I'm not going to get into that here, but it was pretty fun.
This is a family program, and we don't want to use rude language.
That's right. Let's go on to what I think is a much more interesting issue, the lawyer-client privilege as it relates to the Bay Street lawyers who represented the Billy T's crew, the Fontana 8 ATE, the 7 politicians who were implicated by the Ombudsman. They said, we had a lunch meeting, the Ombudsman investigated, we hired lawyers to protect our interests. Taxpayers paid the bill. We're not going to tell you what the bill is.
No, $97,000. We know the total.
$97,000 bill. But we're not going to let you see the details of that bill because that would breach solicitor-client privilege. And you had an excellent story drawing on your years of experience from the courts today, which said what?
Well, lawyer-client confidentiality is invoked by lawyers to protect clients. Any client who has hired a lawyer is free to talk about whatever they want to with respect to what the lawyer did for them and the court case and anything along those lines. To have the client, in this case the city, say because of lawyer-client confidentiality, we cannot discuss this. Quite frankly, I have, after all these years in the business, I have what we call a little BS detector, and it went off big time. And I was able to confirm with serious and senior lawyers in this community that, in fact, that's the case. They are hiding behind something here, and I think this story's not over yet. You can't make that claim in order to avoid scrutiny.
The claim was, we can't release the bill details because that would breach the confidentiality afforded to our lawyers.
Yes.
And your story said, that just simply doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
There's no such thing.
Yeah,
and I think it's really interesting. For me, sick of the story, sick of Billy Tees, sick of the Ombudsman investigation, never want to write about it again. But then they're saying they're doing all this stuff to sort of obfuscate and hide and shield from releasing the bill. And I'm thinking, well, now what's going on? Now I'm interested, right?
They're the ones that are prolonging this by failure to disclose completely and get this thing over with. It's the members of council that are trying to hide behind this letter and hope we'll all go to sleep, Billy T will go to bed, and we'll all move on with other issues. But in fact, quite frankly, if they had disclosed fully and completely, we wouldn't still be hammering away at them, Pat.
Yeah, so I'm just, it's reinvigorated my interest in the thing because I keep asking myself, well, what don't I know? Do you know what I mean?
Yep,
anyway,
exactly.
So like I said, today was the first really serious debate of the 2014 budget season. Things a little discombobulated. There's no real cogent kind of push in any one direction. Like there's not going to be a tax freeze, not even close this year. But they started off, looking at about a 3.1% tax increase, which would be $76
after they make a lot of cuts.
After they make a lot of cuts, which they haven't made yet. So in fact, they're now at, as of tonight, which is Thursday night, they'll be at about 4%, but that's coming back down. But anyway, what I think is really interesting is on Friday they're going to be discussing the police budget, and you're looking at a police budget that's going to probably go up by about $4.3 million. What's most interesting about that is $900,000 of it is coming from assessment growth, which is the money the city gets from a growing tax base every year. They've never done that before. They've never thrown money into the police budget, and I suspect if they do it this year, they're going to do it every year in the future.
And they're also taking money from reserves as well, right?
Police are taking money out of their savings, yeah. But for me, it's that I don't like the idea of that assessment growth cash being thrown to the police budget. Because, and the police can make the argument, and certainly have made the argument, well, we're not taking it from taxpayers, we're taking it from assessment growth. I mean, come on. It's all coming from the same person, you. So
On the other hand, to play devil's advocate, assessment growth means there's new people and new houses that need to be patrolled by police and protected by police and fire. So
I understand that argument, but that was the same case last year and the year before and the year before, and that assessment growth money didn't go to police. So that's effectively $1 million, $1 million more dollars than they would have otherwise received, that it looks like they're going to get from City Council, and it sets a precedent going forward where the police can say, oh, our budget's going up by $2.5 million, when really it'll be $2.5 million. Let's just use that number as an example. And then there's the extra assessment growth cash that's being thrown at them. So not the greatest precedent. I have a lot of problems with the way the police budget has gone up, but I understand too that there's no solution at this point. The solution is when those labor contracts are signed with the officers, and there should be another one signed in 2014. Now, will it be 1%, 1.5% a year? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. You're going to be looking at like 2.5%, 3% again. Yep. So, solution is nowhere near being solved. No. Like the problem is nowhere near being solved.
That's quite right.
And so, police budget's gone up. It's upwards of $93 million now. 10 years ago, it was probably $50 million. I mean, really think about how massive that jump is. And I don't see a solution to these massive annual jumps.
All notwithstanding a significant drop in the crime rate, which is
another thing, yes.
Hammered away at for years and years and years.
So, and John Sewell, who is former Toronto mayor and is a noted and very informative police critic, will say, we're over-policed. But that being said, I have always argued that paying police a little more than maybe would be expected is a good thing, because they have a job that opens them up to all sorts of troubles.
They get
regular
shot,
jobs don't
they get shot at.
Well, I meant the bribes and stuff like that. You got to make it crazy for someone to take a bribe, and how do you do that? You make their pay a little higher than.
Yeah, if we got paid up more, we wouldn't have to take all the bribes.
That's wrong. Nobody's bribing us.
No.
But anyway, so that's sort of an interesting thing to watch in the police budget. But again, they're going to get what they want. Okay. The budget's going to go up $4.3 million. And the beat goes on.
Okay. Quickly, new candidates?
Josh Morgan, who he was chair of the library board.
And apparently he called, I understand, the election hotline here.
Yes, he did.
So
he did.
Our election hotline, really, which is manned 24/7, it's by people in India, but it's manned 24/7, is actually working. So we would encourage anyone else thinking of running, call the election hotline first.
And the political beat is going on hiatus for 2 weeks.
We're hoping for reruns.
We're going to run
Morris, reruns?
Maybe like the greatest hits or something like that.
Greatest hits. We need one.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah, tell us about where you're going.
I'm going to Toronto.
Can you share with our viewers what you're doing?
I will be working in the nerve center of our Olympic coverage for the chain, and I'll actually be doing videos there every morning.
Excellent.
Every morning, an little Olympic preview video.
So when you come back, You'll know more about videos, and we'll be able to make this program that
I'm
much
going to take
better.
my experience to Toronto and then never come back to this backwater.
This backwater town.
I would never leave. I can't. I don't even. I want to go, but I'm going to want to come back to.
Okay.
Pretty bad. Anyway, on behalf of Chip, I'm Pat. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in a couple of weeks at ellapress.com.